Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at the top Pokemon for the Open Great League. We're going to have a look here basically at the top 100 Pokemon that are currently there for the Open Great League and see which one you want to build, which one you don't want to build. We're going to have a meta ranking here. So while in my opinion are Pokemon that are top tier in the meta, or some Pokemon that are not as great in the meta. As it's the top 100 from PvPoke basically here, we're going to see basically that most of them, or basically all of them, are going to be viable for you to use. There's not a single Pokemon that has no play here, but there are some Pokemon that are definitely worse and some Pokemon that are definitely better. So we just gonna start right into it. We have over 70 Pokemon total here, because in the top 100 there are some Shadow, some non-Shadow for the same species. Of course I don't gonna distinguish those, and we're gonna move right into it. I'm not gonna talk too much about all of them, because otherwise the video gonna be 30 minutes long. So, Abomasnow, first one. Cool, meta breaker, currently does not seem to be having any play at all, I feel like. Interesting to see this one as the first one, but I don't really think it's going to be a great Pokemon. I think it's actually ordered by, the alphabet here, which is kind of funny. That's kind of cool, so it's by the alphabet here. Annihilate is going to be the next one, or the A is going to go into the A tier. This Pokemon has a lot of potential in the current meta, a very strong Pokemon. Not great enough for me to have it in the S tier list. I think it's going to be a solid Pokemon to run. It is closer to S than to B, but it's not there. Arachninid, bit difficult to play. Bug typing is always a little bit tricky. Has some potential against some of the ground type Pokemon, but that's basically it for it. Arctibex, cool dragon type Pokemon. Not as great in the current meta as it was before. Too many rollout users, but B tier seems to be alright. Ariados, very close to S tier. Could put it S tier, definitely S tier. Some people definitely gonna say like it's guaranteed S tier. I should most likely put it S tier. Ariados currently a really good Pokemon. I have to say, it is between A and S. Definitely between A and S. You can decide for yourself, to be fair, for this one. Aurorus has some potential. I would say B tier, low B tier, more closer to C, but still has some potential. Interesting Pokemon. Some people have some good success with this, and this Pokemon is very cool. I like it a lot. Azumarill, first S+. Azumarill, I don't know why this Pokemon doesn't disappear, but this Pokemon is just so strong. Bastion, A tier is the maximum, closer to B, to be fair, than to S. The Carbink, definitely B tier. I haven't really seen anything good from this Pokemon so far this season. Not really having a lot of fun. To be fair, Chestnut can join it in the B tier as well, because it's not the best grass type Pokemon that you can currently run. And lack of bulk, the typing that has a lot of weaknesses as well, is just not really ideal currently. Clefable can join them in there as well in the B tier, as Clefable is kind of cool with Swift, but it's not really seeing too much success currently. There are other fairy type Pokemon that just get a little bit more usage. Clodsire is the next S+ tier. I don't like this Pokemon. I don't like to play with it. I don't like to play against it. It's very strong, but I don't like to play with it. It's not a favorite Pokemon of mine. And I'm very later going to make a video as well about the Pokemon that I like to play with and the Pokemon I don't like to play with. But yeah, as you can see here as well, next one is going to be the new edition when I'm recording this a little bit further down, like a few weeks later for you. I basically record after the first few weeks of a Great League. We're going to see here the next one is going to be the Corsola, which is just won a regional, and the first regional I think it was available there as well, so definitely S+. And we're going to have Cresselia next. Was an S tier pick the entire time basically before. Nowadays, not so much. I would say A tier is where it kind of deserves to be. Doesn't seem too much to have too much usage recently, but still an interesting Pokemon. Next S tier. That's going to be Diogong for sure. There's no real doubt about Diogong being S tier in my opinion. Like, this Pokemon is the best Ice type Pokemon for ages already, and it's still going to be one of the best ones for this season. As they're going to move on to one of the buff Pokemon that maybe deserves S+, but in my opinion is just S tier. It is closer to S+ than compared to A, for example, but it's still, for me, just an S tier pick, which is the Diggersby. I know it's a strong Pokemon. I know a lot of people are running this Pokemon, but I don't think it's an S+ for me at least. Donphan, so I don't really see too much of it. It's a fun Pokemon, but not really the most meta Pokemon. Drapion, S tier for me. One of the best safe subs currently. It's just so safe because of the awkward tail coverage of this Pokemon. That's the main reason why this Pokemon is even on this list. Here, the next one, Drifblim. It's closer to S+ as well than it's to A, but S for sure for Drifblim. This Pokemon is ridiculously strong, especially as a Shadow Pokemon right now. This thing is so overpowered. Dunsparce is S tier, but closer to A for me currently. I don't really like it. There are some Pokemon just that can counter it a bit too much, and I just don't really like when Pokemon getting countered like this. And so yeah, for me it's maybe even A tier, but it should be S tier for sure. It's still a very strong Pokemon. It's still one of the best save subs for this meta. Moving on with Dusknoir. This Pokemon most likely a little bit underrated, but like more than B I cannot give it. Yeah, with Shell Punch, it's kind of cool. Just does lack a little bit more coverage. If it gets a better coverage move, this Pokemon would most likely climb up some ranks. Electrowire has great coverage, just doesn't have the stats. B tier is where it deserves to be. The Electrode, the Assyrian Electrode, C tier, like, yes, it has some potential. And yes, I don't think that this Pokemon is bad, but it's what I think about all of those Pokemon on this list. Like, every single Pokemon is on play here. I feel like C tier is still kind of, yeah, accurate. Same goes for Amalgam. I haven't really seen anything good from this Pokemon yet. Maybe someone just needs to bring it to like a regional or something like this to show off how strong it is. For Relegator, there's no doubt about S+. I don't even have to talk about this Pokemon. It is so dominant. Florges, on the other hand, I have no idea how you're on the list, but apparently on the top 100 for PvPoke. Gallade, not the meta for it currently. Too many Ghost-type Pokemon, too many Pokemon that can counter, too many Poison and Dark-type Pokemon that are kind of also a little bit tricky for this Pokemon to deal with. B tier, where it deserves to be. Gastrodon is between S+ and S, for sure. I would put it into S currently. I feel like it's kind of more accurate for that. I think there's a better Mud Slapper, which you're going to talk about. Gliscor, A tier. I feel like Gliscor has potential, has a lot of potential currently. The typing is what makes it actually strong, to be fair. A tier, I feel like, is kind of deserving. This Pokemon nobody has anyway. Here, we're going to have the Golurk. I feel like B tier is also kind of deserved for it. Maybe closer to A than to C for sure. We have Goodra. I actually want to put Goodra into A tier. I feel like S tier is too much for it. Dragon type Pokemon are a little bit trickier to play currently. Greninja, S tier for me, of course. A tier is, I feel like, more appropriate. We have Gastrodon, which is the best Dragon type Pokemon, and I actually feel like I have to put into low S tier. This Pokemon is definitely very, very solid, allowing you to basically resist most of the current damage that's currently put out, but also, of course, the typing that's getting completely walled by any fairy type Pokemon. It's a bit of a risky play. We have the Hakomo and the Komao, so like both of them can be in the B tier, they're very much the same. We're going to have the Hippowdon. I am putting this one also into the B tier, but closer to the A tier. This Pokemon is actually really, really strong, and I don't really like to play against it, but it's also not a Mud Slapper. If this Pokemon had a Mud Slapper, it would be by far one of the strongest Pokemon in the game. Jumpluff, A tier. A tier is, I feel like, kind of accurate for this Pokemon. I feel like it doesn't deserve really anything other than A tier. I feel like it's perfect in this one. S tier is a Licky. Is it? It's between A and S for me. I actually want to put it into A tier. Why it is overpowered in the Ultra League. We're talking about the Great League here. And I feel like A tier is more where it deserves. Lickitung, I'll put it into C tier. I haven't really seen anyone play it yet. Maybe we should give it a try again because people have it built. Would be interesting. Machamp, B tier as well. They're better fighting type Pokemon. It is just what it is. We're going to have Machoke, C tier of course. Like, I don't even know how this Pokemon got onto the list, but it is what it is. Meloma, for me, an S tier pick for sure. Very good Pokemon, very good core breaker, very important as well for the season here. Very strong. Mandibuzz, sadly still S tier. I really don't like this Pokemon, but I cannot say that this Pokemon is not very, very strong currently. And here's the best Mud Slapper for me, S+ even, is the Shadow Marowak. Shadow Normal Marowak is overpowered in a two-shade scenario if you have good IVs, and this is the issue. A lot of people don't have good IVs and are like then confused about this Pokemon. If you have good IVs on this thing, it is overpowered, and I will not put it anywhere other than S+. You can argue about it, I don't care, it deserves it. Normal Marowak doesn't really deserve anything other than B tier. B tier is like Pokemon that are usable, but yeah, you don't really see it. Same goes for Moltres, B tier. Yeah, Moltres, sadly S tier. Very difficult to get, very strong Pokemon though. I hate playing against it. I think the typing is difficult, which you see with Mandibuzz as well. But having an offensive Mandibuzz with rock type coverage is a bit of a difficult one to deal with a lot of times. Morpeko, personally, I feel like it's S tier. I definitely do feel like it's S tier. My choice. Like, if you don't think like this, that is fine. Every single time I play it, like a Pokemon that can literally sweep entire teams is closer to S+ for me than for the A tier. for sure closer to S plus than for me at least. This Pokemon is ridiculous. Pangoro, kind of the sad fighter that has still some play. Like, I had some cool teams with this Pokemon, especially together with the Corsair, has a great synergy with each other. But I do feel like there are other fighting type Pokemon just a little bit better. Like, even a Night at this one is a little bit better, most likely, than Pangoro. And of course, we have the Primeape, which in my opinion is S plus as well. Again, you have a Pokemon that is very spammy, has crazy good moves that it could learn, plus also having a boost option, being able to sometimes sweep entire teams, being the fastest Pokemon on the field. It is very strong. It is deserving the S plus for sure in my opinion. I don't even have any doubt about it. Quagsire, A tier, has still potential. Nobody uses it currently anymore. I think most likely going to get a little bit of a rival again. We're going to talk Quillfish, C tier. Haven't really seen it. Regirock, C tier. Registeel, A tier. Underrated, very much underrated. People just don't really play it because they're too scared of Mud Steppers. In any other matchup, you actually have a good play with the Registeel. Don't get me wrong, it's not overpowered like back in the day. It's just like this power creep basically that made other Pokemon way stronger. But yeah, still this Pokemon has some potential. Runerigas, I'm gonna put into B tier. I feel like it kind of deserves the spot, same as Sableye. Sableye not as great anymore. Samurott, C tier. Don't really see the point of running this Pokemon. Alone Sensage, S tier, I would say. A little bit lower-ish, but definitely S tier. Superior, best grass type Pokemon. S tier, close to S plus. Superior, very, very strong right now. One of the best leads that you can run. Skarmory, A tier. Still, this Pokemon lives from its typing. The typing is amazing. While the moves are not great anymore, the typing still gives it a lot of potential for the current meta. I feel like A tier is deservingly, but closer to B than to S. Steelix, somewhere into the A tier as well, is where it deserves. Same as for Stunfisk. I feel like Stunfisk not gonna have the biggest play because of its typing, being double, weak basically against ground type slash also mainly against like grass type Pokemon. It's just a bit tricky. It's just very, very tricky. So yeah, we're going to have here next one, the Swampert coming up. I want to put it into A tier. I played recently the Old School League, if you saw the video. I feel like it has some potential. I feel like A tier is kind of still deserving, but a little bit lower than Quagsire as well. Talonflame, S tier still in my opinion. This Pokemon has a lot of potential. Has still the option to even sweep teams with Flame Charge, but also has great coverage with the Fly and the Brave Bird, and especially Brave Bird going to help you out a lot of times. And it's a great answer to all the Mud Steppers, while still, yeah, it's definitely a Pokemon that still gets a little bit too much countered from those water types that are also around. Togedemaru, B tier, I feel like it's more deserving. We have Togetic, B tier as well. We have the Toxapex, I would put S tier still, but low S tier. We have Typhlosion, A tier. We have Umbreon, A tier. Very solid, but like again, it's just like this is the thing with Umbreon. You just have Mandibuzz, and you have like a lot of very good Dark type Pokemon above in the tier. That it is just like the 5th Dark type, even though it's very, very strong. Nobody really uses it because there are just better alternatives. We're going to have Ursaring, gonna be C tier. I like this Pokemon, but it's a bit tricky nowadays. We have Walrein, B tier. We have the Weezing, B tier. We have the next Whimsicott, B tier, and we're going to have also Whiscash, B tier. But now we're going to have Wigglytuff, and I'm a bit torn. I'm not too sure where I put it, and I do think it is either S or A, and I'm going to put it into the A tier, but it could deserve S. We have next up the Zapdos, which is a bit better than the Volga, which means B tier, and Swilot for the final one, which is going to be a C tier. And with this, while my face cam is going to cover up a few of them, I can just change it down here real quick. This is going to be my end up tier list basically for the current meta. This is going to be it basically for me. I think this is going to be the best Pokemon that you can run and build. That's going to be it. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.